Yo, what's going on, TBL fans? It's Owen here checking in with my first kind of solo podcast here with TBL News the Pod. Checking in to report on some of this awesome Kokomo BobKats action from this past weekend. Team is still first place in the upper Midwest division of the TBL after an impressive 2-1 weekend. That 9-game winning streak versus TBL opponents did get snapped Friday night against the Medora Timberjacks, but we won't get to that game just quite yet. First, we're looking at this third installment of the Kokomo versus Lebanon Leprechauns matchup that happened on Thursday night. And this one was a little bit different than previous matchups, and there's no doubt about it. Leslie Johnson said it best. She said they had steamrolled over this Lebanon squad 2 times now, and they came ready to fight today, and she appreciated their efforts despite the backhand compliment there. And I do agree with the sentiment. They did come ready to fight in this one. I think they might have felt a little embarrassed from last matchup against this BobKats team, where they had 37 turnovers and shot the ball pretty poorly at 33.7%. Big improvements for the team in this one, the team being those Lebanon Leprechauns. 16 turnovers, so 21 less, and then they shot almost 20% better, 19.7% better from the field as well. And they controlled this game in the first half. They really did. Led by Deontay Raines, the Leprechauns found themselves up 61-51 at halftime, thanks to 22 first-half points by him, as well as 8 more three-pointers made by the Leprechauns than the BobKats. However, things would change in the second half as Kokomo's offense exploded for 20 more points than the Lebanon Leprechauns in the third quarter, outscoring them 39-19. We also saw that Kokomo defense at play as they shut down this Lebanon squad for the most part, minus Deontay Raines, who was almost too hot to be put out. Finished the game with 42 points on 70% shooting. Great all-around game for him and a huge bounce back after only 11 points on 17% shooting in Kokomo versus Lebanon's last matchup. But back to this game, Kokomo explodes in the third quarter, takes a 10-point lead of their own after being down by 10, and then they kind of ran away with this thing for a moment in the fourth quarter. They got up by as many as 19 points, but Lebanon would make this contest pretty close late in the game. I think Kokomo took their foot off the gas a bit, and they did have a last-minute scare there by the Leprechauns, who made them earn every bit of this win and make some last-second clutch free throws to secure a 124-119 victory. This was the most points these BobKats let up all season, really showing how impressive this Lebanon performance was despite the loss. And you just heard me talk about the good things Lebanon did in this game, but obviously, we got to talk about our winners as well. Kokomo dominated in the paint in this one. Outscored them in the paint by 30 points, had 24 more offensive rebounds and 18 more second chance points than the Leprechauns as well. That'll do it, folks. 9 out of 10 times. Larry Plummer had a huge game in this one. Recorded 35 points and 5 assists. 24 of those points coming in the second half, too. He was a big part of that run in the third quarter. He's kind of just in one of those moments where he almost can't be stopped. Everything he was shooting was going down as he was stroking the ball with some serious confidence. Along with Plummer, Tremont Fudge Moore also notched a double-double with 15 points and 10 rebounds. That guy's a double-double machine. He gets after it almost every night. Very consistent player who does a lot of great things for this team. And for game number 2 of the weekend, the Kokomo BobKats faced off against a tough Medora Timberjack squad. Medora entered this game with 5 players already averaging 10 points per game, and then they had the new addition Jair Grayer in this game, playing his first TBL game of the season. Jair just finished his season in the G League with the Fort Wayne Mad Ants, so he brings some serious talent, some serious experience to this team. He went off in this one. I believe he had 21 points and 13 rebounds. So another guy who can score the ball and do a lot of different things for this team. Yeah, they had the firepower. I had said it last week. I said some of these teams won't have the firepower to compete with the Bobcats. Medora definitely did. They had the size as well. They almost, you could say, beat Kokomo at their own game, out-rebounding them, scoring more points in the paint than them, and scoring more second chance points than them. All things that this Kokomo team has been known to consistently do while beating up on some of these TBL Upper Midwest Division teams. Medora would start the game hot and really never look back. They controlled most of this one, pace as well as just holding on to that lead for all but 30 seconds of this contest. Bobcats were flying from behind. They were playing from behind. It's something they had done the night before versus Lebanon. This game was close at halftime. It was 51-47 with Medora in the lead. And I believe probably a lot of people in that gym thought Kokomo was going to have a second half comeback, much like they did the night before. But it would be Medora that would explode on offense in the third quarter in this game, starting the quarter on an 11-0 run and really never looking back. They'd go up by as many as 19 in the third quarter and end up cruising to a 13-point victory in this one, controlling the game in the second half, winning 109-96. There's a few moments in the second half, mainly in the fourth quarter, where Kokomo had gotten this game within 10, and man, it looked like they were about to go on a run. The fans were ready to explode, but it just never seemed to happen. Greg Foster led this Medora squad, point guard averaging 8.9 assists per game this season, second in the TBL. He keeps it cool, calm, and collected. He was out there with a smile on his face, acted like he was playing a pickup game at the local YMCA rather than fighting off first place Upper Midwest Division Kokomo Bobcats squad. And like I said, with the addition of Jair Grayer and the fact that this team already has so many scorers, they're going to be a serious problem in the Midwest Division for the second half of this season. For the third and final game of the weekend, the Kokomo Bobcats would face off against a familiar foe, the Glass City Wranglers, in second place in the Upper Midwest Division. These two squads have been dueling it out for first for some time now, but man, Kokomo has just been a thorn in the Wranglers' side this season. Both teams entered the game 10-3, but Kokomo clearly had the advantage, giving Glass City all three of their losses as they entered the game 3-0 against these Wranglers. And oh man, those Glass City Wranglers would do a lot of things right in this game. They'd out-rebound Kokomo for the first time all season. They'd shoot better from the field than Kokomo. They'd make more threes and even have more assists than the Bobcats. But ultimately, it came down to these last couple of possessions where Kokomo proved to have the better game plan and the better execution. This one was neck and neck for a majority of the contest. It came down to the last couple possessions. I'll take you to the scene now. 30 seconds remaining. Larry Plummer has the ball, and he finds a cutting Tremont Moore, who is fouled going up for the basket, makes two free throws to put the Bobcats up 2. Glass City now has the ball with 20 seconds remaining. They go down the court. They get a great look, a wide-open Alexander Heath, as Chris Darrington finds him after being double-teamed. But Heath, he shoots a good shot that rattles around the rim, but just does not fall. Man, and that's been the story for these Wranglers when it comes to playing these Bobcats. Stars would collide in this game, as they always seem to do, as All-Star Chris Darrington went up against a fellow All-Star, but opposition Derek Hawthorne. Darrington put up 27 points and 5 assists, while Hawthorne put up 29 points, 2 assists, and 3 rebounds of his own. And as close as this game was throughout the entirety of the contest, it's most definitely worth noting that the Bobcats actually found themselves down 9 at one point in the fourth quarter. And it wouldn't be until the 4-minute mark where they would tie this game up before ultimately taking the lead and winning this game. When I come back and think about the execution for both these squads in the last couple of minutes, I think the Kokomo Bobcats were taking a lot more high percentage shots than the Glass City Wranglers. Those last 2 shots by the Wranglers, both threes, were both missed. I get the second 3, but the first 3, was kind of a step back three. It was the very beginning of the shot clock. I think they probably would have liked to get a better opportunity and a better look there. And then Kokomo, they wouldn't settle. They got to the basket 3 times and got fouled 3 times in their last 3 possessions and made 5 out of those 6 free throws. And that was the deciding factor in this game. As close as it was statistically, it just came down to the final couple minutes. And Glass City is trending the right way. You look at them and you see that they're 0-4 against the BobKats. But like I said, they out-rebounded them in this contest for the first time. They're bringing in new additions that are definitely exciting. Caleb Vaughn and Clemmy Owens, 2 guys from last year's team. Clemmy Owens played in this one. He's played in the last couple games, had a good game. But Caleb Vaughn just recently added. He'll play this upcoming weekend for the first time. So I like what they're doing. I like the fight they showed in this matchup. But man, these BobKats are going to be tough to beat, as they have proven time and time again this season. They get the job done 105-103 in this one. So after a 2-1 weekend for the BobKats, they remain in first place of the Upper Midwest Division. They still look like the team to beat, despite that loss to a very good Medora Timberjacks squad. I think a lot of people probably have it in their minds that might be a future playoff matchup for this upcoming year. And personally, I would not complain one bit about that. And I think that's about all I have for today. If you've listened to this entirety of me rambling and speaking, I appreciate it. There's no doubt about it. This is Owen from the TBL News Desk, signing off. Thank you.